How's it going, everyone? It is Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. Let's take a look at the picks from the last video. So, yesterday I gave CLSK as a pick. So right now, if you took that 11-12 call debit spread, you probably got it yesterday somewhere around 40 cents, and that spread is trading probably upwards 60 to 70 cents. So that's a 50 to 75% winner on that stock. So nice win in CLSK. VST, that is up as well. So we're a smaller winner in that, closer to, something like 10%. Broke through this high of the day. That's when it took profits. So that's a decent winner in VST. Here's that move down on the stock. You can see how dropped in over here, compressed, and then pushed back up. It actually held its own when the market came back higher, but we didn't quite have the market confidence to see how it was going to fare out. So I think I noticed this is something that Dave does when the stock kind of drops back down over here. He'll usually take it on the break of the high of the day and exit into strength. And usually, he'll take a stock that may be a 5% or a that could be normally a scratch, and he'll turn it into like a 5% or even like a 10% winner. Okay. Dash, we are still in right now. It's getting fairly close to break even right now. We are at about a 30% loser. So I do want to see this stock start to climb and at least challenge this high. I haven't ordered a scratch out of this trade right now. So unless Dash can show me some very, very strong price action here, that is where my order is going to be. Scratch / tiny win on that guy. PCAR. PCAR is essentially at break even right now, not really moving with the market. So it's looking good. I think what I'm probably going to do is just scratch it here, try to trim some of the position size. So we're going to take PCAR off as a scratch. Get it here around 107. You can see we're right here 106. So this is a very tiny loss / scratch on that stock. And I am going to keep an eye on all of these in my log here. Okay. Break even. So we just should have Dash and Oracle. Let's check Oracle here. It is being a bit of a problem child. So stock right now broke through our support that we're leading on today. So we're not panicking. We're saying, hey, okay, look, first of all, this upward sloping trend line may be that level has to bounce off of, but I want to see some strong price action, and ideally, I want it to close above this level today. If it doesn't close above that level today, then I may see what happens overnight. Potentially may want to see it open above this level overnight. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to take the loss. So that's kind of my game plan on Oracle. What I was noticing, though, is just doing some of the analysis. For my day trade specifically, I really like to enter at the beginning of cycles. So if I were to give a day trade example before switching back to a swing trading example, maybe something like here, like SMMT, right? We're breaking through a compression here through AVWAP-Q, through this high minus trend line. So now this is a beginning of another cycle that is coming up. If I look at something intraday, maybe something like SMR, this is a good example here. Right, so here's the cycle, and then I would like to get it just as this is starting here on this candle or in this candle. Once the cycle has kind of gone through and I'm kind of entering the middle, then I'm not as excited to get in the cycle. So I really want to enter in the beginning of these cycles. Now, if I go to Oracle, and let's just look at maybe like an H1 chart here. So medium term time frame, you can see that, okay, this was one cycle here, came back. Now this is the contra cycle, compress, 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 compress. Nothing a whole lot. Breaks this over here, comes back, retest. So somewhere over, I mean, you could probably get in somewhere here, 170. We're in the break here, 172. Right, this is where most of the move is happening. Whoops. And then I entered close to here when it would have been better for me to enter actually probably somewhere here, 176. Now, even if I entered here, this still would have been a loss, but it would have been a better loss. Would have saved probably about like $2 on those calls. So that is the learning experience over here. Just being really kind of precise with my entries. So, anyways, we'll see how Oracle does. Loser's loser happens. But those are going to be the picks that we had today. So we're able to take a couple of nice wins here and some break evens, just trimming the position size. Okay. So let's take a look at what the market is doing today. So yesterday we had a flat open, a bit of a bearish trend day. This was sparked mostly by news by ASML. On a longer term time frame, I mean, fundamentally, technically, nothing has really changed. We are inching higher. We had the new all-time high, compressed, broke out. We want to see how we do over here. My feeling is that if we don't get back up to this candle very quickly, so if we don't erase this in the next, make a new all-time high in the next, I don't know, one day, it has to either happen today or tomorrow or like the beginning of Friday. If it doesn't happen then I think we're probably going to be more biased and trapped in a range over here. That's my suspicion. We'll see if that happens. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here to a shorter term time frame. We were more bullish earlier on this breakout. We got this first chink down, so we're still a little bit more mildly bullish here. This is our first shot, second shot, third shot, and we may end up making a double top over here. Now, zooming in to the M5 chart, let's take a look at yesterday. So we got this flat open. We got this ASML news right over here, and then a lot of semis came down, and then we were slapping this low of the day here, testing, came back up, testing, came back up. Notice the lower high, tested again. Now, here is the key here. Now, notice that we actually poked below the low of the day. That's huge, right? It's not like this, which is pretty much the same exact price. It's a barely poke through, was irrelevant. Here we actually poked through and we held it for a couple of candles, right? So that is important. And then we poked back up again, made a higher or lower high, and then started to go back down. And then we started to see that late day sell off and then some profit taking. The other clue is that most of the time, the market has spent below that 8 EMA, right? Especially once you got to the move here. This was a huge part, a huge meat of that move right here. So from this candle onwards, markets spend most of its time in below that 8 EMA. Versus over here, you can see that it's actually chopping around the 8 EMAs flat. Here, we get a couple of moves above the 8 EMA, but that's a pretty good guide to say whether you're bullish or bearish. That's kind of what I like to look at. Now, today we had a flat open. We came back and we tested this level, which was the low. If I zoom out a little bit here, it is the low from, looks like this candle. Or I wonder if this is a high here. Well, in any case, it looks like we tested the prior day's low. Perhaps the close of that. Well, in any case, came back here. We got a bit of a smackdown. Here is the gap, by the way. So we got the gap right over here, finding some support at that gap fill. Here's another little level. I think that's a little more accurate here. So there's that breakthrough. So we got a slap down, tested VWAP. Now we're grinding back up higher. A lot of low volume. But we got a lot of kind of like some follow through here, some long candles with like some follow through, and then it kind of reverses up the other way. So not a lot going on. If you didn't enter earlier in the day, I think there's going to be a setup later in the day. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Going through a couple of tags here. There's actually quite a few nice stocks that are breaking out. One thing I've noticed here, if you just compare some of the other ETFs here, IWM is doing very well relative to SPY. Open up QQQ, that's doing a little bit weaker. RSP's holding up decently well over here. TLT, a little pop up. So IWM is really outperforming here. You're seeing in stocks like ANF. We traded that yesterday. Now let's take a look at some stocks that are really, really moving today. See if we can't find a nice day trade. So SMR is looking good, but I'd wait for a pullback before getting into the stock. I think this is closer to the end of that intraday move than the beginning. So that's what I want to see. Same thing with DocU. So seeing a bit of a double top here. Potentially an LRSI alert, so wanted to pull back, and that'll get in on that stock. SMMT, I really like this D1 chart here. There could be a bit of a buying climax intraday. Stock has made a pretty nice run in the morning. You can see that we tested AVWAPQ, broke out, tested that high right here, and then once we broke through over here, it looks like it actually started to take off around 1035. And that is some relative strength given the fact that the market sold off at that moment. So would have been a nice little trade there. Yeah, DocU is a nice D1 breakout through compression. Probably get in on a pullback. There's a trigger of that stock. WVE, pretty crazy stock. Probably not going to trade this with any sort of size today, but massive stock. Found this one on Popple. There's definitely some news here. Let's see what's going on. It looks like it is a biotech stock. Some positive clinical trial news using RNA. CCJ, nice compression break. Ideally, I like to get it like pretty early in the compression break. So as it's breaking out, this big gap up here means you kind of have to act pretty early, because you want to get close to that level. So that's what we're seeing in CCJ. Lunar, I like. Oh, that's Lemonade. Wanted a couple of D1 charts here. Here's Lemonade. Zooming out a little bit here. There's our alert for that stock. So we broke through this high minus trend line, which is nice. We're testing this level over here. So I'd like to see it close above that resistance. And I think there might be a trade here, probably like $1 or so. But that could be a pretty nice trade in Lemonade. It just has to clear some of that horizontal resistance. You can see that it is struggling at that level here. So you're going to set an alert at the high of the day. Move on. Rocket Lab. This was a nice one. I took this one pretty early in the day. So right now, took it right around here. Stock pullback. So I set an alert, I believe, for let me just make sure I have this alert set up. View alerts. Yep, an LRSI cross. So when I get that LRSI cross, I may add to this position. Yeah, really nice breakout. Got it pretty close to that level. So you can see this high here is 1030, and I got in around 1055-ish. I got in right over here around 1050. So pretty nice entry on Rocket Lab. Lunar may be my pick, I think, for the day. So with this high minus trend line breakdown over here, found some support at the gap and a VWAP key, a VWAP Q, starting to rally up. A little bit of resistance here at around 887, as well as some resistance at 942. But I do like the setup here. I'm going to wait for this 1OP bullish cross here, and I'm going to wait for maybe a little bit more of a pullback in the stock. I like to get it in maybe sometime close to like, if I can get it at 840, that'd be a great. Ideally, something like $8 would be the best, really the best entry point. And here's why. So here's the breakdown. Look at the H1 chart. Here's the bearish channel. Broke that down. Now we're moving up, forming a bullish channel, and that intersection creates this horizontal channel for a moment. So you can see this high right here. This $8 was a pretty critical price point. Broke through here, and then we broke out right over here. So somewhere like 825 would be a really nice entry point on Lunar. And it looks like we got that pretty early in the morning, 825, so 830. So I'm not going to get 825, but if I can get like 840 or something and it pulls back to VWAP, I'd like to get in on that entry. So that's kind of what I'm watching for in that stock. Carvana is another nice one. It's cooking. It's not quite set up yet, but it's in this compression, very tight compression, holding all the gains from the prior candle. I have alert set at the high of the day, so if it can break out through that level, it's looking good. There is this high plus trend line. I may have to potentially redraw this channel because I don't know if I have really drawn it correctly. This could be the channel breakout here. I'm just going to draw a couple of these. That could be one here. You could draw it like this. That could be one there. So there's a couple of these high plus channel breaks. If you want to draw it like here, maybe that's one. As it broke through and it's kind of grinding up higher. So there's a couple little high plus channels you can draw, and you can see that's where it's sort of intercepting. Some of these, when they intercept, you can see the compression. In other cases, there's a clean break and it's already above that level. So it depends kind of how you draw them, but Carvana is pretty nice. If it can close above that high, it's a good kind of swing. So I think I'm gonna go with Lunar as my swing pick for this video. And here's what I want to see. I want to see a pullback here, somewhere around VWAP. I like to buy it at, and then maybe take something like, let's see what the Lunar calls are trading at over here. I'd go out. Let me just make sure there's no earnings coming up. 11/12. Okay, so give yourself some time so you can go out like a month. Buy the $7 calls on Lunar. Plenty of the money, and you can take a pretty nice win on that guy. All right. So that is going to be it for today. Lunar is going to be the swing pick of the day. I gave you a couple of other stocks to look at day trading wise. So in terms of the setups here, market is very, very weak. So wait for everything to line up here. Wait for that 1OP cost. Wait for the market to find some support. I think this is going to be an LPTE day. Not going to move anywhere too much. So you really want to make sure you nail your entry on the stock cycle and enter as soon as that cycle is happening, and give yourself the best chance of success by making sure the market rug is not going to get pulled out of you, and the market at least is maybe moving up a little bit. Thanks for watching today, and we'll take a look at how these picks did in the next video.